Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at these templates. I will try to toggle between basketball, hockey, and wrestling, just to kind of show you the different elements. They're pretty much all the same, but they do have a couple things about them that we can take a look at. The biggest thing you need to know is we have this broken basically into 7 sections, 3 sections being on the right, 3 sections being on the left, and then the middle section. So middle section is basically this last section, or this last layer right here, and then you have the right sections here, the left middle section. I'm going to go ahead and actually click on those here real quick, kind of turn them off and on. Okay, and turn that back on. We have the left upper section there, and the bottom section I left as separate groups. One is for the scoreboard and one is for the lockers. Okay, now let's just take a look at the lockers real quick. You have a clipping mask, a fill layer, and if you want to change that, you're going to go to whatever color you want to change it to by double clicking on the swatch there, and you can just change it to whatever you want, a darker green or whatever. So that's easy enough, and I'm going to close that one out. The left upper section is going to contain the rusty pipe that goes around it. Each one of the sections has kind of a rusty bar or whatever. You just need to be aware of that. And then again, you can change the color of that to whatever you want. You can change it to anything just simply by clicking on the color swatch. Okay. And that's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to go ahead and close that. Basketball row, just simply the basketballs right above the lockers. And this black strip is basically just to fill in behind the basketballs. Okay, left middle section is basically the steel frame that goes around it, the basketball net, and the black box beneath that. Okay. In the right upper section, this is obviously set up for senior banners, but you can put whatever you want up here in the corner of this section. Right now it's just got class of and 2025. So you can see if you wanted to take the logo, let's find the logo there. Where's the big school logo? Okay, so you could take the big school logo and you could actually go ahead and make it a little bit bigger and drop it right in there, and that works as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and, but for this purpose, we're going to keep the class of on. You got the broken up wooden gym floor, which you can turn off and on if you don't like it. And the bolted line, which is this line right up here. Okay. And I've also got some hinges included. In case you wanted to get rid of that wood floor design and make it kind of look like it's a door. Kind of a cool look. You might want to adjust the logo accordingly or whatever. There's a lot of space down in here. So you can kind of do whatever you want with it. Okay, so we're going to add the floor back in, turn the hinges off. Okay, and again, you have a fill layer right there that if you want to go ahead and change, just double click on the swatch and you can change the color to whichever color you want. Okay, so right lower section, we'll open that one up. You basically got trusses, you got a steel plate down at the bottom, which is kind of the backdrop of that bottom section. right middle section. This one's a little, I wouldn't say tricky, but just a little different than the other ones. It doesn't contain everything. The paper tears with the text on it, those are a separate layer that are on top. We'll get to that in a second. Again, you can click on the color swatch here to change the color. This is the banner, and it'll change the color of the banner. You can see that that's clipped right to the banner. So let's turn that off, and it'll give you a gray banner. Turn it on, and you're going to be able to adjust the color however. It's got the rusty pipe that goes around it. Okay, its backdrop is basically old paper, and I'm going to take a look at that real quick. I'm going to lose that. So if you just wanted to leave it like that, it would be kind of an old looking crumpled up paper. And then I think there's a box underneath that as well. So this is the dark splash behind the player. If you want to get rid of that to make it a little bit cleaner, you can. Kind of a nice look. I've always liked that splash myself. You got the player, and then you got logo above the name. You got this is the conference logo, and so this is an example of taking more customized elements and adding them. So if you want to add their conference logo to their to the template, to their banner, you can. If you want to add let's just say they want a championship or whatever and they got a logo for that, you can add that as well. Just be aware that anything you do add, if it's copyrighted, you might want to check with the team first about doing that. So, but it's kind of cool because you can drop in different logos from different things. Maybe they have a separate logo for the school and a separate logo for the team. In that case, you can use both. So, so then we've got down here at the bottom, we got the wooden floor, and you can turn that off if you want, right? And reveal a little bit more down at the bottom, or you can leave it on. I personally like it. So player name, and let's take a look at the player name and the effects there. You got a bevel, you got two strokes, and you got the drop shadow. You can change the colors to whatever you want, both on the text itself and on the two strokes. So you can also lose the bevel and emboss, give it more of a flat appearance. Okay, and this is just a school logo. It's right there. Some of them, some of the elements I left just on the top layers because they're just easier to move in and out. Some stuff is a little more static. It's going to stay that way, so I put it in groups in the sections. So let's take a look. And another example of an example of that is going to be the paper tears with text layer. So you have a paper tear here. Let's look at the word nation. Okay, we turn that off. Now you'll just have that there. You turn off nation. Now you got that. It's pretty basic. I don't really need to explain it, I guess, but each one of the words is right above the paper tear. So, and that can be turned off completely, and I'll show you in the wrestling one what I did with that. So, okay, so that is going to go, that is going to be it for, and I'm actually going to give that a color. That is going to be it for the basketball template. And the template for the 4x5, which would be what you would use for 8x10s and 16x20s and all that, that's basically the exact same thing. A few of the elements you may have down here, I think I've moved up a little bit, but they're formatted accordingly. So let's go ahead and take a look at the wrestling one. Okay, basically the same thing that I went over with the basketball one. Wrestling doesn't have a ton of elements. It's got headgear, it's got singlets, and it's got shoes. But if you come up with your own, you can. If you have, what's kind of cool is, and I tried to do it with wrestling. I tried to make a medal using AI, and I was able to make a medal, and I may add it at some point, but I had a hard time making it look right for the girls' medal, so I left that off for now. I may go ahead and add it. It does look pretty cool. I don't even know, maybe I have it in here. I think I went ahead and got rid of it. But anyway, so wrestling is basically the same. I don't really see anything different. The only thing a little bit different is your scoreboard is up here. And obviously you got shoes. And then I added a little American flag, a little rough American flag down here at the bottom. And so you can turn that off and on there. And then in the back, you'll see the back section when I remove the player. You got a whole section of trusses, okay, which you can turn that off, and what you would have would be a wrestling mat graphic. So you can leave that on or turn it off. So that's pretty much our wrestling. And we're going to go ahead now and take a look at hockey. Okay. You'll notice the file names right now are DL Nowling hockey, DL Nowling basketball, etc. That will change. I've yet to, at this point that I'm making the tutorial, I've yet to give it a name. So I'm still working on that. I'm thinking elements, maybe something like that. So, so hockey is pretty much the same thing. You're broken up into sections. This one in particular is a good example of taking certain elements. So we have, they've got two logos that they use, one with the Mustang horse, one with the more traditional M. And then they asked us to, they said, hey, can you include that? So I said, sure, I'll go ahead and do that. Well, this Roper Cup championship didn't have a logo, so I ended up having to create it. So this is a non-editable logo. If you are good at, if you're skilled at Photoshop and you want to use that and change Roper Cup, it's a PNG, but if you know how to do it, feel free to do so. And then this is the Indiana Hockey Association logo or whatever. So, but this is a good example of taking multiple elements that are more custom to the team and more specific to the team and adding them. I believe actually this team that I did senior banners for, they had won a championship back in 2020, a state championship. And so I did a pennant, hanging pennant for them. It's actually pretty cool. So that's what I like about this particular template. It's busy, but you can add a whole lot to it. I might be adding at some point, and again, with the new format that I'm doing, that you'll see, I'll be able to update the template without you having to, have a link sent to you or anything. I can just post, hey, there's an update to the template, go grab this or go grab that. I like that option, and I'll explain that in the next section of the video. So if you got any questions, always feel free to message me. This is my first tutorial video. I just figured it out. So, but I figured this had a lot to it, and it was about time I learned how to do it anyway. So, but again, we're gonna have wrestling, basketball, and hockey. And the cool thing about this is you can actually, add your own elements and make it for swimming or make it for lacrosse or make it for football. What'll probably happen is baseball will roll around. I'll do a baseball version, post the update for that. Same thing with football. And then that way you guys can have those as well. So I've been asked about the team template. I don't think I'm going to be doing the team template just simply because that's a lot of work. And sometimes, the senior banner or the poster look is a great look. But then I go into making the team one and it just looks like garbage. So at this point, I'm not going to have the team one. So sorry about that. But okay, so I'll go ahead and explain the new way of downloading templates, which is really cool. It's going to allow me to do a whole lot more. I'll do that in the next section of the video. Thanks.